Hi, this is Barry Schwartz from the Search Engine Roundtable. This is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, May 21st, and this is the news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com. We're doing the live broadcast again, and if you want to watch live, just go to seroundtable.com/live. We're usually Friday mornings between 9 and 9:30 or so. Just follow me on Twitter at RustyBrick to be notified when we're actually going live, and you'll be able to participate by asking questions live in the chat room. The first topic, again, I was offline. Thanks for letting me know you can hear me in the chat room. But basically, I was offline for the past 2 days, so I've been playing catch up, and it's pretty hard to do a video after playing catch up, but I've been doing that anyway. And the first big news this week was the Google I/O. Google I/O, there was a lot of announcements, such as Android's new OS that they're releasing soon, and also Google TV. And Google TV is the main thing that they released this week was basically a search appliance for your TV. I think there's more information about this at google.com/TV, but we have information about it on our blog at seroundtable.com. There's a video that shows pretty much how it works. You basically search for what you want, and you'll be able to see, find, and bookmark shows. Obviously, there's a great search engine for TV named Clicker, which is run by Jim Lanzone, who is a former CEO of Ask.com. So you should take a look at that as well. And there's some pretty funny comments about this in different various forums. And I'm going to post this in the chat room so people can actually see the information I'm talking about. And some people say this looks amazing, but yet it's scary at the same time. There's somebody posted a link about the Google TV socks and some more information about that. But the main thing here, which I think is funny, is the fact that developers can start optimizing their websites for Google TV today. And that comes from the Google blog post, which is telling developers to start optimizing their websites for Google TV, which is kind of funny. And a guy in Webmaster World said, basically, oh, here we go again with optimizing our websites for different things. So if you want to take a look at that, definitely do that. And you'll be able to see more information about that today, May 21st at seroundtable.com. The next thing we uncovered earlier this week was that Google is going to be offering encrypted web search, basically a secure version of their web search. I'm not sure exactly how that will work. We should be hearing something about that this week, which I believe ends, today or tomorrow. And basically, Google's Googler named Alan, a senior VP of engineering and research, said that next week we will start offering an encrypted version of Google Search, which is something that people aren't so clear about what that means and how that will affect webmasters, but some are concerned that if people use encrypted web search, that the refer data in the web analytics tools that Google webmasters use will no longer be available. And you won't be able to see certain information. Obviously, Google has not made any serious comments about this yet, but I do expect to hear more information about this over the course of this week or possibly next week. So that's the next major news. If you have any questions about anything, just pop in the chat room or do it on Twitter, and I should be able to reply to any questions that way. Something that I realized this morning was, I saw a lot of people complaining about it, was that Yahoo, they have Site Explorer, and Yahoo Site Explorer is a pretty neat tool for finding competitors' backlinks and stuff like that. And some people have been reporting in the different forums or also on Twitter that it actually has dropped significantly in terms of the number of link counts that people have been reporting. And for example, I'm going to go ahead and swap the video here so people could see it. I'm going to show people my link count. And I don't know if you can see this in the chat room, but basically today, according to Yahoo Site Explorer, seroundtable.com has 138,000 links. But back about a year and a half ago, last time I did a screenshot of SERoundtable's backlinks, we had 250,000 links. So there's been about a drop of about 110,000 links reported by Yahoo Site Explorer in Site Explorer. And there's some posts about it at Search and Watch forums. There's a lot of people tweeting about it. We have those over here in the various in our post. So it's pretty interesting to see that Yahoo has dropped significantly in terms of the number of link counts. The question is why? Is it something that because Yahoo hasn't been updating it? Are they going out of the search business? Are they using Bing's data now for Yahoo Site Explorer? These are all possible reasons for what's going on. But obviously Yahoo has not commented about this yet, and hopefully they will soon. Also earlier this week, we reported talking about Ganzi Frani, I think that's how you pronounce it. His screen name asked if this is a change or an algorithm. Like, I'm not sure if it's an algorithm change at Yahoo. The last time it did an algorithm change was about a month ago, and that really hasn't affected the Site Explorer count. It might be that, I'm not sure exactly, it might be that Yahoo just stopped updating it, or possibly that Bing is now powering it. I'm not sure yet. There hasn't been any official confirmation about that, but it'll be interesting to see how that goes forward. Thanks for the question. The next topic is Bing. Bing has been improving how they handle their 301 redirects. Back in the day, they did a 301 redirect, Bing never picked it up or rarely picked it up. Now it seems like over this past several months or so, since October and November, they made significant strides in terms of how they handle those 301 redirects. A 301 redirect, for those who don't know, is basically a way for you to tell a search engine that page A, URL A, has moved to URL B. So if you make a change of a domain or a page URL to communicate that to a search engine, is the best way to do that is to set up a 301 redirect server side. So the way Bing has handled that in the past, or MSN Search, or whatever you want to call them, was pretty poorly. In October they made improvements, in November they made improvements, and again we have reports from webmasters and SEOs that those improvements have been handled much better in May 2010, and this is the first time we have confirmation from a Bing representative. Brett Yun over at Bing's program manager said yes, they have made significant improvements. He wasn't able to say anything specifically, but they said they have been making improvements in that area, and they hope that people are pleased. If not, definitely join the chat room, the forum at the Bing forums, and you'll be able to learn more information about that. We have a post about this on May 18th at seroundtable.com. Next thing is Google's redesign, and we talked about this a lot in the past couple weeks or so. About 10 days ago, we posted a link on how you can access the old Google design. A lot of people don't like the new design, so they've been wanting to go to the old Google design, and the way to access that was to go to google.com/webhp?HL equals all. And now if you go to that URL, as of a few days or either a day ago, Google has now redirected that to the new design, and people are really, really upset because that was the only way they were able to get to the old design. Obviously, you can still use add-ons and extensions for your browser, but at the same time, people want a simple and plain URL to go to get the old Google, the Google they loved in the past. So the question really here is, why is Google removing it? Obviously, Google's very committed to the new design. It's a shame because there's a lot of people. I haven't seen so many questions and so many complaints in the Google forums about the new design. I haven't seen so many complaints about one specific thing in a long time, and a lot of people are complaining about this. So it's interesting to see. We have a post about that today, May 21st at seroundtable.com. If you have any more questions or feedback on how that works, let me know. And Ganzi in the chat room says he had this view for the past few months, and he totally doesn't understand the fuss about this. A lot of people don't. I personally love the new design, but there are a lot of people who hate it. So why not give people a previous UI? I guess to handle that, they probably don't want to, but it's a lot of people are asking for it. So it'll be interesting to see if Google stays committed to the new design, or they give some people an alternative view. Yesterday, there was some weird Google bug where you did a search in google.com, entered a query, either hit enter or hit the Google search button, and when you did that, the search result box on the next page, on the search results page, didn't have the search query. So usually when you do a search, for whatever it might be, you type into the search box. On the next page, it shows you the results, but at the top and the bottom of the page, there's another search box. Those search boxes are usually pre-filled with your query from your previous page. Sometime yesterday, there was a bug that pretty much stopped that from happening. Google addressed the bug, I think a few hours later, but it was something significant to a lot of people, and people were pretty upset to see that happening. Again, I think this is resolved. I don't know if anybody else has seen this bug, but it's definitely resolved, I believe now, according to Google at least. Those AdSense publishers out there, something significant happened in Italy. Italy basically is forcing Google to show the share of revenue for AdSense publishers. So basically what it means is as an AdSense publisher, you put your ads on your Google ads on your website. Google shares a percentage of the revenue they make from the advertiser with the publisher. Nobody knows the exact percentage for an ad from an advertiser, that actual share percentage. You could figure it out on a general level from looking at Google's financial statements to see the advertiser income from the public contextual network compared to the publisher payouts. But nobody really knows in terms of, I'm an AdSense publisher, how much am I making specifically from Google for each ad and each advertiser. Italy, the courts ruled in Italy that Google has to show Italian publishers, at least Italian publishers, the actual search share on an ad-by-ad basis, which should be pretty interesting to see how they actually provide that in the reporting tools. If it's something that they might expand to U.S. publishers and to publishers worldwide or not. I assume Google doesn't want to provide such detail, but we'll see how they have to do that in the future because something like this is pretty significant, and how they actually handle that in the future will be interesting to see if they just do it to Italian publishers or worldwide. We have a post about this on May 17th at SEOroundtable.com. Yeah, so some good comments about that in the chat room as well. On the AdWords side of the discussion, Google new AdWords keyword tool, somebody noticed that in this new keyword tool, they have languages now. In the past, they only had the languages, I think, in the early keyword tool, but now in the new keyword tool, they added a new box. So if you select a country, let's say United States, you could actually define keywords not just within country, but country within language. So for example, in the United States, you could pick from a bunch of languages, including English, Japanese, German, Portuguese, as well as other languages. So a lot of people are asking in a thread discussing this at Webmaster World, one person asked, is Google, maybe a sign that Google is developing a multilingual taxonomy, and the category list that I've seen in English is a global categorization system. So people are suspecting that more things might come from this, that Google might get better at figuring out localized languages and based on country or whatever. So it's pretty interesting to see how this is integrated into the Google keyword tool, and how we might see future enhancements to AdWords as well as obviously organic search at Google. Again, we have a post about this on May 18th at SEOroundtable.com. This morning I spotted a thread at Google Places Help. Basically, Google Places Help is the Google Maps Business Center. And somebody was complaining that when you do a search for, he was looking at his Google Places Help statistics, which shows you basically your top search queries and what drove the most business and most traffic to your website from Google Places, from Google Maps. And in that, his top 10 keywords, he saw keywords, his top keywords included swastika building, Nazi building, swastika, Nazi headquarters, atomic bomb, Nazi, all these types of keywords that are pretty drastic to see. So I did a search for swastika building, San Diego, California, which is the place this business is in San Diego, California, and up came a lot of businesses, including, and let me bring this up for you. I don't know if you can see this on the side of my screen, but like Defense Support Services, U.S. Naval Exchange, then a barbecue grill. Then came some interesting results after that. Number 4 and number 5 were fairly interesting. Number 4 was a place called Tifereth Yisrael Synagogue. It's basically a Jewish synagogue. And the next one was a balloon utopia, basically a balloon website, I guess, party planning website. But the person that complained in the forum, owned Balloon Utopia, and what he said was he was getting most of his traffic from Google Places for these Nazi-related keywords, but he said, as a Jewish business owner, this really worries me. He's saying he's convinced that somebody is after him in an anti-Semitic way and is playing this type of hacker trick or some type of spam trick in Google to kind of target him for these Nazi-related keywords. This wouldn't be the first time we saw Google really attacked in terms of Nazi-related stuff. We saw stuff with swastikas showing up in Google Hot Trends. And Google, that was some type of bug that Google fixed. Somebody was basically manipulating their Hot Trends engine So I'm wondering if this is somewhat related or not. I'm not sure exactly, but it would be interesting to see that. Like I said, this past week I was off for about 2 days. So in the past 2 days, I posted about 10 or so polls that we've been collecting over the past month or so, and I'm going to share them all with you right now. 43% of SEOs say traffic has been down since the Google redesign. So we saw with the Google redesign, a lot of people complaining that their traffic is down. Some of them said significantly down. Some of them say no, it's the same. So we had a poll asking people if that's happening to them. About 43% said the traffic is down since the Google redesign. About 41% the traffic is the same. Only 13% said the traffic is up. It's pretty interesting to see that. I don't know if it's related to this May Day update we discussed last week, but hopefully not. We did another survey about Tioma, which is basically Ask.com's search engine. Basically, what we found here was that most SEOs could not give a hoot about Tioma. Most of the polls we run get about 200 responses, and this one we only received about 40. And most of those responses, 44% of them said, I don't care enough to really fill out the proper answer. Of those people who did fill it out, 63% said they don't like Tioma results, and 37% said they do like them. Again, those are only 22 of the responses, so about 44% said they don't really care, and most people didn't even fill out the poll. Back a while ago, a lot of Googlers stopped using Facebook. They deactivated their account because Facebook became very, very, I guess, deceptive about how they handle the privacy issues. So I asked people based on Google Buzz and how Google Buzz is not so private also, and how they handle that whole Gmail integration feature. I asked our readers what they feel about Googlers deactivating their accounts, and 75% of them said they feel that Googlers are hypocritical about Facebook because of the whole handling of the Google Buzz feature. Again, you can access all these polls on the blog at SEOroundtable.com over the past 2 days. May 19th and 20th they were posted. Next poll was that basically most SEOs believe that links that open in a new window are no different than links that open up in the same window. We did a poll about a few weeks ago, asking do links that open up in a new window pass equal page rank and equal link juice that page for links that open up in the same window. 83% of the responses said yes, they pass the same equal amount of rank. 10% say they pass less page rank than links that open in the same window. And only like 2%, 3% said they pass more link value than links that open up in the same window. So that was pretty interesting. May 20th at SEOroundtable.com. All right, almost done with these polls. Just going through them quickly as possible. SEOs, we did a poll about SEOs and content management systems. It's pretty interesting because content management systems require some technique in terms of making them SEO friendly. We asked, do SEOs prefer creating pages by hand or making them CMS driven, content management driven? And 36% say they prefer using a CMS. 34% they prefer using a mix of CMS and hand some pages created by hand, and 26% say they only like to make pages by hand. We had a question in the chat room. What do I think about this? I believe he's talking about. Links in a new window. If that's the case, I think they probably pass equal page rank than links that open up in the same window. Yeah, so I believe they're probably the same. We had 3 AdWords polls. How often do you change Google AdWords creatives? Here's a response. About 50% say they change creatives monthly. 17% say they change it every 2 weeks. 15% said they change it, 17% said bi-weekly, 15% said weekly, 12% said quarterly, and 2% said daily, 2% said every other day. That's the poll we ran earlier this week. Another poll we had in Google AdWords was how often do you optimize your Google AdWords account in general? 30% said they optimize their accounts weekly, 20% said daily, 11% said monthly and quarterly, 10% said every other day, and 8% said bi-weekly. How often do you change your Google AdWords bids. How often do Google AdWords advertisers change their Google AdWords bids? 40% said weekly, 18% said daily, 10% said monthly, 8% said bi-weekly, 8% said quarterly, 5% said every other day. Final thing we asked was a poll on the risk of link buys, buying links. About a month ago, we wrote a long post about link buying, how risky really is it, and then we asked our readers to vote on that. And we asked them to vote on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being very risky, 5 being not risky. Most SEOs voted smack in the middle, saying 3. It's not so risky, but it is risky. 93 votes, 31% said it's very risky, saying it's very risky but not too risky. Then 24% said it's closer to not being risky, voting on 4, number 4 out of 5. And then next said the most popular vote was 20% saying voting on number 2, just behind being very, very risky. And 11% said it's not risky at all, and 11% said it's very risky. So you see like a little thing, people saying, is it so risky or is it not? And most people are saying it's risky, but it's not too risky, and you can see that chart at SEOroundtable.com on May 19th. Okay, so the last topic we have here is that YouTube turned 5 this past week. I think it was Sunday. And part of that, obviously, we've been doing videos for a really long time here, and I appreciate everybody watching them. We get several hundred views on our videos between YouTube and iTunes and on the blog itself. And part of that, we saw that that YouTube is releasing a new search feature for searching comments, and basically you can now search comments based on hashtag, which is something that's been pretty popular since Twitter released their Twitter search. So that pretty much is this week's video recap. I really appreciate all the questions in the chat room. Thank you so much for asking them. Appreciate everybody watching this video. And this is basically the May 21st Friday edition of the Search Buzz video recap. Again, my name is Barry Schwartz. You can catch all this news and information over at the Search and Roundtable at SEOroundtable.com. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week for next week's version. Thanks again.